Your body knows how to be healthy. I'm your host, Martha Blessing, and this is the Place to Be Free podcast, a show that is passionately devoted to illuminating the potential within you to transform your health and life. We're shaking up and breaking up old paradigms so you can free up your mind and body, elevate your consciousness, and create profound well-being and a ridiculously happy and healthy life. On this show, we defy the norms and embrace a journey toward profound well-being and creating true freedom. We challenge patriarchal medicine, question fear-based culture, and dive deep into topics like quantum healing, energy medicine, mental science, consciousness, and universal spiritual laws. Whether you're here for solo explorations or the insightful interviews with individuals who've conquered fear and disease and broken through limitations, you're in for a transformative experience. If you're seeking empowerment, if you're ready for a life-changing shift, you're in the right place. Welcome to the podcast. Hey there, Martha Blessing. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I want to talk about where you put your attention and how that determines the outcome of your healing and your results. I'm going to share with you some of the most important reprogramming pieces that I think are game changers. And they have been for myself, and they have been for every single client that I have ever worked with. And I know that's a big statement, but you have to understand that how you use your mind is going to determine the outcome of your healing and your results. So the first thing that I want you to understand is acceptance of the end wills the means. If you cannot believe, if you cannot accept that you can heal, that your body knows how to be healthy, it's pretty unlikely that the energy that you're carrying is going to create the results that you desire. It's just that simple. And we try to make it difficult and we try to make it hard. But we are living in a quantum field, in a quantum world, in an energy-based body and world. And a lot of what I see and hear in the course of a day and a week is really confusing information. And I feel badly for folks who don't get this piece because they will stay stuck. They will stay stuck. So what do I mean by this? Acceptance of the end wills the means. You have to bring into your being, to your body, to your beliefs, and to your thoughts the idea that your body is healthy and whole, that it knows what to do. Your hair grows, your nails grow, your heart beats. You've heard me say this time and time again on the podcast. And yet it's so simple and easy to forget. And it is entirely about where you put your attention. So a client that I have been working with who has MS has really had a lot of success on her healing path and her healing journey. And she has had a little bit of what I would say, I guess, call it a setback for lack of a better word. I know it as resistance, but I want to use a language and a word that most of you will understand. And so that's how she perceived it, is a setback. And despite having the tools and the knowledge and the ability and the skills and the practices, she would continue to show up to these calls and say, but why now? But why now? Because she had, over the last 2 or 3 years, I would call it an antagonistic set of symptoms that emerged. She saw it as a negative event. And instead of continuing to put her attention, as she had, on the fact that her body was healing and that it was doing it successfully and she was moving through the symptoms, she started to put her attention really in a fear-based area. And she started to put her attention on fear-based thoughts. And every day she kept putting her attention on, but why is this happening now? How come I made it so far along and I did all of these things and I got better, and now all of a sudden I feel like I'm regressing? And so every day her mind was, why now? Why now? Well, guess what that is? That's focusing on the problem. That's not focusing on the solution. And what we know to be true is that where you put your attention is what will determine your outcome. When we follow the laws of polarity, whatever we're experiencing now, the exact opposite of it is already here in the field, already in existence at the same time. And instead of focusing on it's already here, she was focused on what's wrong. And there's only one outcome that can happen with that train of energy and thought, and that is to continue to get more of the same. That is the frequency of fear, right? That is the frequency of fear. It may not seem like it when you start asking yourself questions like that, why now? What it's really doing is pulling you back into a pattern of negative thoughts, of fear-based thinking, of control, right? She was investing all of her energy in, I need to control this. It's getting bad. It's getting worse. And when we're looking for the problem, we can't find the solution. We're so invested in what I call the darkness, right? When the light switch is turned off. When we're standing in a room and it's dark, we can only see the darkness. But if we're standing right next to that light switch and we turn it on, where did the darkness go? It's light again. Light and dark exist in the exact same place and space and time. Where did it go? We turn the switch on. There's no darkness. Turn it off. It's darkness. It's that simple. And that's what our healing is. It's literally turning the switch on in our mind, in our subconscious, in our energy, in our body. It's turning the switch on to focus on the light, to focus on the frequency of what it is we do desire, and acknowledging that it is already here. I'm hoping that this makes sense for you. The subconscious mind is where the self-image is stored. The subconscious mind is where the self-image is stored. And so what's happening is her pattern, her frequency of illness, of fear and doubt and worry, which she had since she was a child, is taking over again. Success, healing, boom, resistance. And so then the mind goes to this old pattern of why now, control and fear. You see how this works? What's in, we don't, why people kind of fall down and don't always have success with this law of attraction and manifesting is because we can't outperform our identity. And when we are in this fear pattern, we don't always see it. We don't always recognize it. We don't see it for what it is. We don't even know that we created it. It seems normal to us. And that's the default mechanism, the default operating system. And so that's where this being, she's being fear. If she's being fear and doubt and worry, then she can only have a certain type of thought from that energy and frequency and pattern. And from that thought, she's going to take an action. So this is why just sitting and repeating mantras and affirmations and like it's all the energy's all up in your head and it's this just kind of rote, robot, repetitive. That's not the same as shifting the subconscious identity, right? So we can't say, I'm healthy, I'm healed, I'm healthy, I'm healed, I'm healthy, I'm healed. But inside, we're still in that subconscious fear and doubt pattern that we created to keep us safe. To keep us safe. The moment that you accept a fact as natural and real to yourself, the manifestation is done. It's occurred. I'm going to say that again. The moment you accept a fact as natural and real to yourself, the manifestation is done. So what happened in this instance with this lady with MS? What she was accepting as real was doubt. Why now? Why now? Why now? It was repetitive, week after week after week after week. Why now? That's where her train of thought was. So what do you think she was accepting as a fact? She was accepting as a fact the doubt and the worry and the fear and the inability of God, source, and substance, intelligent thinking substance. She was doubting all of these quantum healing tools as real. She was doubting herself as worthy of already being healed and in the space. And when we have that doubt, when we have that unworthiness, we're going to be pulled back into that identity. If we accept as a fact that we are unworthy and unlovable, and that we have to earn our health and earn our healing, if we are one of the many of the what I call religious wounded, that we're bad, that we're not good enough, then we are going to continue to accept that as real. And no matter what we do, no matter how many healers or modalities or anything, you can sit and meditate all day long. You can do Reiki. You can do all the healing in the world. This is one of the reasons why I take people through that work with me in my programs, why I take them through the teachings that I do. It's why I put out the podcast, for you to understand these teachings, because if you don't change at a core level and use your will and your mind to understand how the laws really work and how healing really works, you will stay stuck in that pattern because your core identity is still that unlovable unworthiness. I have to earn it. We've been so programmed to this idea of sin and good and bad that we don't believe that it can happen to us and for us. And we're putting all of our energy and attention on someone else being better than us to help us heal and fix it. So the moment you accept a fact is real and natural to yourself, the manifestation is done. So what you want to be doing is you want to be thinking about, what do I want to accept as the truth? What do I want to program into myself, my being, my subconscious as real? And unfortunately, the pharmaceutical companies, the media, the AMA, all of these companies, they know this. They've been using these universal laws in the media to program us to be sick and to be in fear and to be worried and to believe that we don't have the ability to live as our sovereign, healthy, free self. It's a lie. We do have the ability. I'm living proof. There's so many people who are healing and reversing. Pancreatic cancer, Dr. Brew Joy, he was an MD. His book is Joy's Way. He healed himself of pancreatic cancer. My friend in Buffalo, Susan Kohler, same thing. Pancreatic cancer. They told her 9 years ago now, maybe it's almost 10. Get your affairs in order. You've got 6 months to live. Pancreatic cancer. She healed it herself. We see this time and time again. People are reversing cancer. You've heard me speak on the podcast many times about Anita Moorjani. Her healing journey, 4 years of everything holistic and alternative. On her deathbed, loaded with cancer, her body and her organs had shut down. She had a near-death experience and she came back. Cancer was gone. It's about the consciousness. It's about the frequency. It's about releasing our programming and our tapes of being unlovable, unworthy, and bringing that light into the body, accepting a fact as natural as that we were born worthy. We were born healthy. We were born for our bodies to know what to do. What's gotten in the way is what we accepted as a fact from our childhood, from our parents, from the trauma, from the fitting in. Do a good job, get good grades, do this, do that, right? Like so many things that we have taken on that are not ours to take on. Not ours to take on. So I want you to examine, what is it you're truly believing about yourself? What are you accepting as a fact? And where can you change that? What would you like to believe about yourself instead? What would you like to believe about yourself instead? And let that be what you accept. Let that be what you put into your daily spiritual practice. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Place to Be Free podcast. If you found inspiration in our discussions on empowered living, mindset, and spiritual laws and healing, don't forget to subscribe and share the wisdom with your community. Connect with me on social media, and for exclusive content, free resources, and to stay updated on upcoming episodes, visit the website at marthablessing.com/free stuff. Until next time, remember, you're the author of your story. Keep breaking through barriers, defy old worn-out beliefs and patterns, and create a life without limitation. I'll see you in the next episode.